Hey guys, welcome back. I know it's been a while since I posted. Took a little bit of a break, kind of treating YouTube as a hobby rather than a job. And that's okay because I've got a full-time job. My full-time job actually keeps me really, really busy. But Solarwinds came out with something new. It's something different that you guys haven't seen. And so I wanted to go ahead and show it to you. It is Solarwinds Hybrid Cloud Observability. Came out new late last year. You can see I've only got a couple of boxes here. I've got a domain controller and I've got a Solarwinds box. I'm going to keep it fairly simple because there's no point in creating all this crazy stuff. Now, of course, you wouldn't deploy it this way in a production environment, right? You would have a database which would be separate from your Solarwinds instance. In this case, we're going to wrap it all in one. So without further ado, I'm going to shut up and start the install here, and let's see what happens. Now this is a fresh VM. Like I said, it's brand new. 32 gigabytes of RAM is what I gave it. I should probably give it some additional CPU. It might complain. Let's see how many CPUs it has. I think it's 8. But let's double check. Yeah, so 8 CPUs. So nothing crazy. Again, this is still my little NUC that we did originally, right, from last year. So just a little NUC PC, nothing special about it. It's got 64 gigs of RAM. It's got, I don't know, little i7 1260 CPU, a 1 tera NVMe, local Ethernet, and just a really, cute Intel GPU. Woo! So anyway, here's our Solarwinds installer. Let's go ahead and give it a shot and see what it says. So we are going to do a standard here. It requires SQL Server or SQL Server Express. SQL Server Express can be installed as part of the installation process, so that's great. We're going to take advantage of that because I did not create a SQL Server. So right here, we're going to say install SQL Server Express. That location's fine by me. And now it's going to go ahead and test my environment. Make sure that we're good to go. All right. And we got a couple things here. It says, hey, you got a pending reboot. That makes sense. I get a brand new computer. TLS, check if TLS 1. All right. And then it's saying, hey, if this is a domain account, make sure that you've got the proper permissions. I'm installing it as my SolarWinds service account. So I think we should be good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and just confirm that everything's good. And I'm going to say, go ahead and install. I'm going to let this thing run. We'll let it go. I'll give you an idea. It's 8:02 p.m. and at least it is out here in Arizona. Let's see how long it runs for. I'll come back and let you know. So just checking back with you. It's been 8 minutes since we hit go. We've been at 37% now for a little while. You can see the installer in the background here. So let me, so here's our 37%. I've just been watching Task Manager in front of us, looking at what the CPU is doing. I haven't seen it get above 25%. I haven't seen memory get above 3.5 gig. But we do have our service installed. So if we come and look at what we've got our SQL service. It's installed. It's not running yet. You can see we've got a SQL Server agent, which is disabled, SQL Server browser. So there's all of our SQL Server Express stuff. We've got SolarWinds services that are getting installed and starting. So all that's working. And then over here on the left-hand side is just some stats about my NUC. Again, nothing special. 64 gigs of RAM on a 12th gen i7 1260p with a 1 tera SSD. So again, nothing crazy, but you can see that the Solarwinds installer is definitely not greased lightning. It is going though, and stuff is getting installed. So I have a feeling what we're going to see are some really big jumps. We're going to go from 37 to 50, and from 50 to 70, and 70 to 100. But I don't know that, so we'll keep watching it. Oh, there we go. We just hit 40. 42. So now it's moving. It's cranking a little bit, right? So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video. Again, we are about 10 minutes in. Well, we're exactly 10 minutes in, so it is 8:12. We started at 8:02, and yeah, it's cranking right along now. So I don't imagine it'll be much longer, but I will go ahead and pause the video and let you know when it finishes. Well, finally finished. Looks like we are at 100%, although the installer is still just sitting here. And oh, there it goes. It's done. And let's come in here. I want to just kind of F5 on my services, and I can see all my services getting installed. None are really running. That's okay. I imagine we've got some restarts that we need to do anyway. We do have a database running, and here comes the install of our IIS 8 components. So Internet Information Services. If this isn't running, you don't have a website. There's nothing for you to see. We didn't install any prereq, so no IIS, no SQL, no nothing. And it looks like the installer is doing all of that for us, which is completely awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and let this do its thing. Should be pretty quick. Looks like we are going right through it pretty fast. Get out of services here. We just kind of have the CPU going in the background. Continue to watch it. There's IIS. We can see that right there. And here's my configuration wizard. So my site isn't quite there yet. Now this configuration wizard, I know it will take about 10 to 15 minutes to do what it needs to do. So during this process, it is finalizing all the settings, the database config, it is starting services, it is going to configure the database connection string if you actually specified a SQL server. In this case, we just did SQL Express, so we shouldn't see that. It's just a bunch of different configuration. Now, if you're upgrading a version of SolarWinds, something you've already got, no worries, not a problem. This is the part where it's going to look at your current config file, look at its default config file, and go, hey, wait a minute, this user has their own config file. We're going to use that instead. So you won't lose anything during this process. Again, this is a new install, so we're just going to let it do its thing. But I don't want you to sit here and have to watch through it and click through and fast forward. So I'm going to pause the video for you, and we'll pick it up as soon as this is done. Hey guys, just coming back here during the middle of the config wizard. Just wanted to show you that SolarWinds created its own app pool, also created its own site. So it's still working, still doing what it needs to do. We'll let it keep rolling. Hey, just an update. As you can see, all the SolarWinds services are now running, which is cool. The SQL services are running as well. And if we look at IIS, that is running also. If we're looking at the IIS admin console, you can see that the website still stopped, app pool still stopped, and we're running about 85.5% on the config wizard. So we'll just keep watching it. I'll come back when it's done. All right, this thing is wrapping up. It is 8:41, almost 8:42. If you recall, we started this installation at 8:02 p.m. Arizona, so 2002 hours, and it has been nearly 40 minutes, 39 minutes since the installation. You can see that the configuration wizard says that it's 100% complete. I've got IAS here in the background. Let's just go ahead and hit F5. You can see that my website is started, which means my app pool is definitely started. And there it is. Again, if we go back to our services, you can see all my SolarWinds services are started. We can see that IAS is started. And we can see that our SQL server is started and running. So all the services are up and running, good to go. You can see I've got a weird binding, so I don't know why it gave me this particular binding, port 8787. I'm not in love with it. I would probably use a different port. I don't know, maybe just port 80. If it were me, I might actually come in here and modify these bindings and give myself port 80, but for now, I'm going to wait for this to finish up. I don't want to mess with it and lose out on 40 minutes of my life that I'll never get back. So for now, let's go ahead and just let it finish up. And that'll be the end of this video once it's done and we confirm that it's working. Well, guys, I think we finally done it. We're 43 minutes past the install. You can see IAS back here. The configuration installer says, hey, I am still waiting for the website, but I've got Edge in the background here, and you can see that it is ready to create a password for our admin user. So let's go ahead and do that. And let's save it and log in and see what it looks like. Like I said, as soon as we get logged in here, I'm going to end this video. We're going to have many more discussing observability versus the perpetual licensing model that SolarWinds used to have. So for right now, we're going to call it quits. Like I said, we're getting logged in. We're going to do the configuration wizard and get a couple of things discovered. But from there, we're going to leave it be. And we will live to fight another day. All right, we're finally in. So I'm going to discover one device and one device only. And that will be my domain controller. So let's go ahead and add 192.168.167.210. 211. That's my SolarWinds server. That's my domain controller. Next. Next. No agents. We're going to get over to the Windows tab over here. We're going to feed it a credential to use. Ooh, that's new. Add SSH and Telnet credentials. There's SNMP creds. Let's add this. Let's add this credential. Not now. WMI. Let's say manually set up later. I'm just going to call it the initial discovery and let it do its thing. Do it right now. Should be quick. Again, we're only scanning 2 IPs, so should be very, very fast. Hopefully you find both things. All right, we can see it's scanning the first hop, 211. Boy, I did feed it the right IP address, didn't I? Okay, yeah, perfect. And that's DC1 is 210. Okay, good. You sometimes always wonder when I've been doing these things for almost an hour, did I do it right? And there we go. We can see that nodes discovered equals 2. So we're in good shape. All right, guys, that's going to be it for this video. You can see I discovered both servers. I'm just going to select the interfaces that are both up and running. You can see those there. For ports, no ports. Volumes, we got RAM, virtual memory, and fixed disk. No need for the CD. Applications, IAS, we've got Active Directory, we've got SQL Server. Sure, why not? Hardware and software inventory, that's kind of different. There we go. We've got the 2 here. Let's import these nodes. And now I promise this video is over. We are going to come back at you next time. We'll look at the differences, like I said, between observability and old school SolarWinds. There's some licensing variations there. Some that can help you, some that can hurt you. So really good to pay attention and know which is which and the model you need to continue to go with. So that's it for now. We'll talk to you later, guys. Have a good one.